holiday special of
Yay!
cosplay photo critique. Um, yeah, yeah, it should be a fun one here today. Thanks everyone who managed to be able to join on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday. Sorry that we keep on fluctuating dates, but it's what has to happen to make these happen. Otherwise, you wouldn't get any of these. So that would be a bigger bummer, I would think. um, so as if you've probably noticed, today we are joined by Mallo. If you
Yay!
if you don't know Mallo by
You're
now,
fucking living under a rock.
yeah, or you just haven't been watching any of these streams because she's been like on 4 times now, something like that.
Yep.
Enough. She's been on enough.
Enough for you to know who she is.
Yeah. So, we. So just kind of preface here. We had some carryover photos from the last critique. So those photos will be we will critique those at the end. So we wanted to do all the themed photos first. So if you have a photo that wasn't included in last week's critique that you submitted, fear not, we're critiquing them, but it'll just be at the very end of things here. So let's give Mallo a bit of a introduction anyways. She's been on enough, but why don't we give a chance for her to talk about stuff anyways. Man, all my normal questions I've already asked you, Mallo, so I'm just like shit.
I have a good one.
Ooh, okay.
Do you have any 2019 goals for yourself in terms of photography, whether it be cosplay or personal?
Oh, that's a good question.
Even if they're just like really general goals.
Lens upgrade for sure.
Ooh, which one?
Probably what you got. What is yours? Honestly, the 85 1.4 Canon lens would be amazing. The L series, but yeah, that's gonna be a goal because that's an expensive lens.
It is, but it's beautiful.
I know. I like how it does a really good bokeh in the background. Really good for portraits. Maybe be more organized. That's probably my biggest downfall is I have folders all over the place that need to be organized really bad. And also naming my photos, like where I can get back to them and it not being a random word or how I'm feeling. Sometimes some of my file titles will be like, I am so tired. I want to go to bed. It's 2:00 in the morning. Like I've done that. And then
so you need a naming convention.
Yeah, I just need to like name it simple stuff. This is all based on organization. So,
yeah, I can't relate at all. I'm just like, I need to be organized, otherwise I die.
I'm an emotional editor, so I edit with a lot of rage sometimes. But yeah, maybe do obviously more location stuff in cosplay and start doing my personal stuff. So yeah, that's my goals.
Sweet. During that time period, I should have been thinking for a question to ask you, but I didn't.
Way to go. Just kidding.
I'm trying to think if I have anything interesting. Do you have any cons that you're planning on attending in 2019?
KatsuCon, Colossal Con ? It's 2 hours away from me, so I usually go for the day at least.
Man, that con's gonna be so like I'm gonna be so bummed, but like I feel like no one's going to that con. Like, I mean, no one I know got a room that this year, so like none of us are going.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a planned thing to do. Yeah. It's more.
I mean, if it was 2 hours away, I'd probably still show up anyways. So I totally feel ya.
Well, the biggest reason is because the drive is fun for me because I go through a lot of small towns and I go antique shopping on the way to Colossal. So That's okay. Because I have a problem with that. So, no other cons. I don't want to waste a lot of money going to cons on the West Coast when I could go there to visit things and location shoot. Why would I? I think they're cool. I think the only con I want to go to on that side of the states, not really a con. I would love to go to E3. That's like the only thing I care about. Yeah, that would be fun to go to. That's it. And I wouldn't be shooting there. So
Gross.
yeah.
Yeah, I need a new con to go to this year. I feel since I'm not doing KatsuCon, I'm not doing Colossal Con this year. So I feel like I need to figure out something new to insert into there. But
It'd be fun to go to
West Coast Con.
Which one?
I'm thinking either Fanime, because I'm never able to go to Fanime because it's like literally the weekend before Colossal Con, Ohio. Mason Hikari, shut the fuck up, dude.
What's
he's
happening?
I'd laugh. He's gonna get auto banned for spam.
Fanime. I know. And also Sakura Con, even though we make fun of that stupid commercial like all the freaking time, but it's supposed to be a really fun con.
Sakura Con ikimasu.
Kabuga I would anime and manga.
Ew, I was like, why is my face on the screen?
I love Japan, period.
Anime.
Oh god. Yeah, I would love to go to SakuraCon. Honestly, part of the problem is like flying to the West Coast is so much more expensive than flying to the East Coast for me. So I'm like,
really? Even though you're kind of like sort of in the middle?
Yeah, you would think, but oftentimes flying to the East Coast, I can find like tickets for like around 200, 250 round trip, and then like flying to the West Coast, it's like 400, and I'm like,
well, for me, it's like 400, which makes sense.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's
buttholes.
Yeah, I would also love to do Fanime, but Fanime is the weekend after Anime Central, so that makes it exceptionally difficult. Yeah, so it's for like I would love to, but it's pretty much completely off my radar. But such is life. I'm sure we've already asked you this, Mallo, but maybe you might have something different this time around. But do you have any tips you'd love to give to photographers out there or cosplayers? Doesn't matter. Just a random tip.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Even if that was such an All Might thing to say.
Like, so okay, deep. I was about to say, I was like, okay, All Might.
It's true. Like I've throughout photography, I have been like, I'm not good enough. I suck. And like a whole bunch of self-loathing, and I still kind of do it sometimes. Like not to that extent, but when I was like, when I had a hard time with finding like my style, and I thought I had to have a certain style that everyone would know who I am, and it doesn't matter how popular you are, nothing. It's about you getting better. So don't, because if you focus on that stuff, you won't get better, and then you'll hate yourself, and then you know what I mean? So just when I say don't give up, like if you're mad about a photo or something like that, just leave it alone, even if it's for a month. Like don't touch it for a month and go back to it. You know what I mean? So it's such a cheesy thing to say, but I've wanted to give up so many times. I'm like, I suck, and
I'm gonna piggyback off of you.
Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, like, so that I think that ultimately leads to like, because I recently just went through this, and I'm kind of going through it right now. But it's kind of like, don't get discouraged, and that it's also okay to take a hiatus from something. Like right now, like I said, I'm kind of experiencing it like myself again, which really sucks. I literally just got over this like a year ago, but it's like it's hard to not feel like you're constantly competing with everyone in this community because everything's competitive for like no damn reason.
Yeah.
And I found that for me personally, it's gonna vary from person to person, but just like taking a break and stepping back and like not doing it is like, I think, a good way to kind of just like deep cleanse yourself from like all of the bullshit in this community that can make you feel like you're not good enough and that you can't keep up or whatever. But
well, and that's the thing too, is like I don't know for the cosplay aspect of it, because I feel like for most people it's just a hobby. But like in the world of photography, competition's real. Like you compete against other businesses and stuff. But I think that you're gonna appeal more to people if you have your own style and you focus on that. Because at the end of the day, people like what they like. Art's subjective, and one you might be like, why did Susie Q like that photographer? They suck. But there's a reason they liked them. You know what I mean? Even if their stuff to you is whatever, it's something to someone else.
You have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I disagree with Mallo. Art's not subjective. Some people just suck. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Click. Just kidding.
Okay. You guys think we should critique photos?
Wow, you didn't even ask me my zodiac. That's like the most important part of me.
What? Harry Potter, how's are you?
Gryffindor.
Wow.
I'm kind
Never would have guessed.
I'm kind of a Hufflepuff too, though. So, yep. And
Moving
my zodiac, I'm a Virgo.
Okay, let's do critiques and stuff.
Yay!
Dead.
Bobo asked, and thank you for catching me on this. Do we have a link to photos? I'm sorry. I will come up with a better solution for this at some point. I promise. It's just not right now. So I will share a OneDrive link to the photos if you want to view them along with us. Give me one moment.
Wow, you're like the dad who promised to go on a fishing trip, and then you said, "Sorry, we can't."
More like if I was the dad that promised to go on a fishing trip, and then I was like, "Sorry, no fishing trip, but I got you some goldfish."
Ew.
Not like the crackers, but like actual goldfish.
Oh, that sucks. I'd rather have the goldfish.
Yeah, for real.
All that crying from disappointment. I'm gonna be hungry.
Who wants to go on fishing trips anyways?
It was a joke so terrible he almost died.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! Okay. I feel like. Up front, I dropped the link in chat, so if you want to critique along with us, it's there. Dumb. Okay. If you just cover in our normal bases, if you have a guest that you would like to see in the future, I posted the link to the guest suggestion form.
Ooh,
don't put Mallo down. We already know. Feel free to critique along with us. Critiquing in the chat is awesome. We love it when people do that, and we're constantly looking. We might not be able to implement everyone's feedback, but it's super awesome when you can do that. And donations and subs are always appreciated. It's a huge help to keep this running. I want to actually give a huge thank you to everyone who's subbed in the past. I just had or given bits as well. I just got my first a payout from Twitch, so it took a while, but finally got there. So finally got that PayPal notification the other day, which is really awesome. And it's all thanks to you guys. So huge thank you to all you guys. Really appreciate what you do, and you guys. I mean, we couldn't do the critiques without you. It'd be really boring. We'd just be looking at
we'd also be talking to
ourselves.
Photos.
Yeah,
weird.
it would be stupid. So yeah, and to follow up that, thank you, as Sarah's just like slurp. Thank you to everyone who submitted a photo, because I know it can be a little scary to submit sometimes. Like, it's not the easiest thing to do, and you're the people who allow us to make this series possible. Like, it'd be really lame if we didn't have any photos to talk about. So yeah, it's huge help. It's awesome, and we greatly appreciate it. Speaking of donations, if I can get to actually Streamlabs sub, NetJack, thanks for that Twitch Prime sub. If you have a Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you get a free Twitch sub every month, and if you're not using it, highly suggest using it here. And it's greatly appreciated if I haven't said that like a million times already. Okay, let's critique some photos and let me stop rambling.
Yeah.
Just me rambling forever. That's what you
Needs
guys
to
want.
critique photos.
Okay, so this first one is from Aaron or Avid Exposure. Sarah, why don't you start us off?
Yay. So right off the bat, I really like the mood of this photo. I feel like often when we see like Boku no Hero photos, they're very like very bright and very saturated and like very dynamic in like an actiony kind of way. Like makes sense because they're freaking heroes. But what I like about this one, it kind of makes me feel this very like calm before the storm and like Deku's like waiting to like strike kind of moment. And also like the color toning really lends itself to that. Like these like cooler tones. I'm also not used to seeing this either with like Boku no Hero stuff. So like overall, I think the mood of the image is really really nice, and I think the cosplayer's expression that was captured also really helps bring that to life. Some things I think the image could work on a little bit is I don't know if it's the crop or the or like how it's actually framed, but this is like kind of tiny, and this is just like me personally, but like the elbow is getting clipped. It's like the only thing that's getting like slightly clipped off on the edge. So I wish that either the cosplayer could have just moved over to their left a little bit, or the photographer could have just taken a step back and then maybe crop in later in post or something. Because I don't mind this kind of framing, like where the character is like bottom left and then there's like this big grandiose amount of negative space on the top right. Like it has like that kind of like narrative storybook feel, which I personally really, really dig, especially for these more kind of like solemn moments. But yeah, that right now is what's kind of needs some improvement. It's just like the positioning of the character.
Yeah. I would definitely second that. I think, and this is something I have noticed in Aaron's photos a lot, is he kind of tends to have them really pushed up to the sides of the frame. I think you just need a little bit more breathing room on the side. And I think I would suggest that, similar to what you said, is instead of really trying to change too much, maybe just have them back up and have them so that you have them they're a little bit smaller in the frame and have the breathing space that way. That would be my suggestion on that. But agreed, though, they're just like, with their elbow like touching the side of the frame, it's just a bit too tight.
This is like a mistake that I would do a lot when I first started photography, was that I would always clip off like really awkward parts of the body, because I was so concentrated on like trying to get it right in the frame, like right on the camera. But now, like especially at a con setting where like you're like very rushed, I tend to back up and then just crop in later. So even though the photo like compositionally isn't super strong on back of camera, that the end result will be good, and that's what matters. So I think a good rule of thumb sometimes is just to like give a little negative space all the time, and then you can always fix it later with the crop.
To echo kind of what you said earlier, I do really, really like the color grading in the shot, though.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's good.
I feel like with cool tones, like I'm really bad at it because I feel like I always make them look like really sickly, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea. So I just like scrap the idea of like a cool tone photo altogether. So this one's just done super well. Like the skin tone looks so good.
Yeah, typically when I like want to change the warmth or like, cool it down a little bit, I'll select everything besides the skin. It's just how I do it. I don't know if that's like the best way to do it, but I'll select the environment and everything and the hair and all that. And I'll manipulate that. And so that way you're keeping that regular skin tone as much. But to a certain extent, you don't want it to be too warm because then it won't match the background, but it'll keep it from being sickly,
Like gangrene is usually what mine end up looking like, but whatever, that's fine.
I always find it hard because like I agree, like whenever I try this kind of stuff in my own photos, I'm like, the skin tones are wrong. But like there can be something really nice about having like those skin tones off to match the photo. I just like can't commit to doing it in my own work.
They have like the perfect, the skin's perfect. It's not too cool, not too warm. I mean, this is just like a clean photo. Like, absolutely. Like, I mean, I don't, besides like what you guys said about the cropping, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about this. I think it's really pretty. And it just works.
The only thing that, like, after looking at it for a little bit, the only thing in the background is there's that one like branch in the back that's
The white one?
not the white one. That one's bothers me maybe a teeny tiny bit, but I'm talking about the one that's like kind of coming out of like their face. Yeah. That's that diagonal line there. And that one, it just feels like a little bit too bright, and it's not following the lines of everything else. If it were me, I'd maybe try and spend like, it should be since everything's so out of focus, it should be a really easy Photoshop out if you wanted to remove it. So
honestly, I feel like even content aware Phil would get rid of it pretty well because it's so bokeh out.
It is really, really not a huge offender at all. It's
we're just
really
being dumb
nitpicky,
right now.
but like I would probably spend a little bit of time on that. Cool. You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
Keep doing what you're doing because your color grading is really good.
No, I'm super impressed by the color grading.
Definitely progressing. It's awesome to see. All right, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Ellie Soon. Mallo, do you wanna talk about this one?
Yes, I'm excited because it's Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
I love Tomb Raider, and I love both these girls. They're amazing. Okay. First off, I'm assuming this is real snow, and that's just what I'm assuming. If not, you did a really good job at putting snow in it. But yes, I figured it was real. But I'm trying to look at the chat. If I look down, sorry. Okay, the first thing I have to say, and this is definitely a compliment to the cosplayer, the detail of like the bloody knuckles, the cut on the nose. I mean, like the cut on the nose, I feel like anyone would have been like done that, like because it's just an obvious place. But the knuckles, like I just think that is so, especially as someone who is a fan of Tomb Raider, like it's just a great detail, and it was like one of the first things I noticed. It gives a lot of emotion, and it kind of gives you an idea of where the character's at right now, like you know what I mean, in the story, like whatever kind of story you're going for.
I was gonna say, oh sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I like the bloody knuckles because I feel like it really helps play off that it's really cold outside. Because like for me in the winter, like my hands just start cracking.
You're just like, I'm not climbing anything, but man, my knuckles fucking hurt and get bloody because it's cold and dry.
It's real life. Like it just makes that's what I think of when I see that.
Lara Croft's like, I'm bloody because I'm climbing shit. And we're all like, it's just cold and dry.
It just helps play up that weather feel, like the snow.
This is a really good portrait. Where it's cropped, I think, is appropriate. There is a little more negative space, but it doesn't bug me because of the fact that we're seeing all that snow. I just think it works in the situation.
I feel you. I feel like the framing is like slightly off, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me. Like I don't like I'm at odds with it. I'm like fighting myself over it. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel like in a normal situation, if we didn't have that, we'd probably be like, that's a lot of space, but there's something nice about it. It kind of reminds me of like when you see a film and the way they shoot it is like there's all that negative space to see rain or see snow. I like it. And the color grading is good. It's subtle, which I think for snow is so easy to shoot in because it saves you. Like you can shoot like past sunset. I have taken great photos, great lighting because of that snow reflecting light. It's amazing.
Snow's just so beautiful that it
is.
Like I hate when I'm standing in it, but the photos you get are so good.
Yeah, it's this all together. I don't really I don't think I have much complaint. It's
I,
just it's good.
I love the fact that the cosplayer looks so kind of like pained because it's cold,
Yeah.
and honestly, some of that feeling might actually be a little real. So probably
I was like,
works a
real
little bit.
life.
Well, yeah, and she looks thoughtful, which Laura, in the games usually is very thoughtful, and what I mean. There's like raw emotion with her a lot of times. So,
I imagine this was edited in. If not, this is really impressive. But the breath that's coming out of her mouth is like, I love that detail. It's very subtle,
Yeah.
and
I didn't even notice that. That's nice.
yeah, no, it's
Boom.
awesome. I really dig that subtle detail.
Honestly, that just elevated it for me a lot.
I am a sucker for snow, so like, yeah, the shot's awesome.
It's a beautiful shot. I really don't even have any like feedback.
it's funny
I can
because
think of.
in the chat, someone said subtle is with heart, so like subtle is good. And I honestly, that's something I've been learning with my recent Legend of Zelda photos. Like, I was like, man, I feel like I have to be extreme with this, but the environment was so beautiful. I didn't really have it ruined it to be extreme. So I feel like sometimes it's okay to be subtle.
Well, I think because like it's so hard when there are a lot of photos that are so overly flashy, like got a big costume, got these big lights, got gels everywhere, got like 20 assistants flipping this hair, and it's like you don't need all of that to make a good photo.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because I think a lot of cosplay like is just like it's by nature very over the top.
Yeah, for sure.
And this cosplay isn't an over the top cosplay. It's if she weren't like battered and dirty, like you could probably
know what it is.
like you could walk around in that outfit in everyday location and it would look normal for the most part.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, because like I feel like if without the weapons and all that, she'd look like she's like an H&M. Like it's an H&M photo. I mean, unless you know the character.
Other like minor, I don't know if I want to call it a nitpick. It's just the only thing that I feel like outside of maybe the framing in the shot that feels a little odd to me is her eyes. I feel like one eye is more closed than the other. Like it almost feels like you caught like her like almost mid blinking. And it's only the kind of thing that you like if she were looking forward it would be way more noticeable, but since she's looking down it's not. But like you can see her eye in one of these and you can't see the eye in her other eye. So it's just a little odd. I'll zoom in for the stream.
I've had that happen and I've literally had to tell a cosplayer close one eye more. It's because of the angle, because the left eye
that was kind of what I was
dead
thinking.
on. Yeah. Which would be like weird.
And honestly, that's something that you really only notice when you spend some more time with it. Like, and at full screen, it's
stare at it.
Yeah, at full screen, it's pretty minor. So, yeah.
It's
cool.
Good.
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next one? Or are you guys good?
It's another good example.
It's beautiful.
That it's cool toned, but the skin is perfect. So another good example of it.
I think this maybe is my favorite photo I've seen from Allison yet. So
she's improved. Like not that. I mean, I feel like she's improving more and more the more I see her stuff. So
yeah, no, she's killing it. She's killing it. So
we better watch out. Oh
shit! Oh shit! We're screwed.
We fucked.
Cool. Okay, let's move on to this next shot. Okay, this next one is from Brett and more snow. Although I think this is actually photoshopped in, but that's fine. That's fine. I super dig this shot.
I love this
yeah.
photo.
Beautiful.
The mood.
The framing's so good. Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. Fine. The mood is super good in this shot. Just kind of the feeling between the two of these and how magical the editing feels with both the background bokeh and the foreground bokeh kind of gives this kind of like this swirly nature. So like I kind of, the way my eye follows in this photo is I kind of start up top and I start at the top of the frame. And I kind of go down to that bottom foreground and then follow that around in like a counterclockwise spiral into the cosplayers, and then kind of follow their eye connection, which makes me go from her to him down. My eye follows down his hair, down to the hands, and that's kind of where I end up my eye ends up setting in that like hands face area. It's kind of awesome. Like there's not a lot of times when I'm looking at a cosplay photo where I can really follow the flow of what my eye wants to do in a photo. So it's when I get the chance to like have one where I'm like really able to follow it is super awesome. There's an emotion here that's really nice. I think, man, I don't want to nitpick this area, but I will. But I just kind of feel like the expressions on the cosplayers are maybe the only little bit that's pulling me out from this photo. It's pretty minor because I don't think it's bad by any means.
Now I was gonna comment on that too, actually.
But like, I don't know. There's just something about it that makes it look like they're not quite going for the kiss. I would maybe like their faces to be even a little bit closer. I don't know. It's you know, it's acting, which is hard to do as for a lot of cosplayers because a lot of us are not actors.
I think for me that it's that the Alucard feels very relaxed, and then the female character, I don't know what her name is,
Maria.
but she feels Maria. She feels a lot more tense to me. Like the more I zoom into both of their facial expressions, like I said, the Alucard, like their face looks so relaxed and just like kind of like.
I hope you guys heard that.
What was that?
That was my wife blowing her nose.
Oh no!
It was just like, holy shit.
It sounded like a car going down. Anyway.
Sorry about that, guys. Keep going, Sarah.
I can't. What the fuck was I saying? I don't even know.
She was a bit more tense like or something.
Siren. I'm like, is it Wednesday?
I'm sorry. This isn't Mason Hikari where he sounds like he's getting shot every 5 seconds. Anyway.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Okay, right. All seriousness. Okay, yes, the Alucard looks super relaxed. I think their pose and expression works for me, but the Maria feels very like if the photographer had just told her just to like, can you relax your face? I think it would have. They both would have looked a lot better.
I think partially it's because it looks like she's going towards him versus him going more towards her, because I think if it kind of felt more like he was going towards her, it would probably feel a little bit more relaxed on her part.
And something I've learned too is like I learned this from MH photography a couple years ago. He says it's always good to keep your mouth just open a tiny bit, even if it still looks closed, but just to not always have like your jaw fully shut, because it does make you feel like really tense.
I was gonna say that about the Maria character.
Because like her lips don't even need to be parted like the Alucard, but it's just lightly opening your mouth so there's not like that strain on your jaw. It does, like, it has done wonders for me, because I think I used to struggle being like, why do I look so like tense, and like in all these photos, like I felt like I looked awkward. And when Mark told me that MH photography told me I need to like relax my jaw more and just keep it slightly open, like that was game changer. So that's always a good rule of thumb to tell your cosplayers.
I did not know that. That's awesome advice.
It's
Well,
great.
My biggest thing is I feel like their heads shouldn't be straight on because no one kisses like that. You always want to have a
You gotta,
slight
yeah,
tilt.
you gotta. Otherwise, you're doing
Little
that
tilt.
sweet nose dueling. Like,
That nose smush.
I know it's hard because you want to get their face, but I know there's a way because I've seen shots like this. If you just tilt a little bit, it wouldn't seem so stiff and more realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even just a slight tilt. Like,
Yeah,
I
just
don't
slight.
think it would really hinder the
Yeah.
angle of their face at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, this photo is beautiful. Like, I remember when I saw it, like, I was like, this is something I would see in a magazine and I would stop to look at it.
So I feel like I've got some. Well, I do have some nitpicks. Not that I feel
Nitpicks?
I do have nitpicks. I really like the color grading on this image. However, I think luminance wise, there's a bit too much midtone in this image. I would just like to see it maybe a bit more contrasty. I'm not quite sure what I need to see, but I just feel like it's maybe a bit too bright and too mid-tony. Like
It's a little flat.
yeah, it's interesting looking at the tone curves. Let me see if I can screen share this. You can only see it. So that tone curve is like an incredibly interesting like I've very rarely seen a tone curve so smooth. It's very interesting, and I think maybe that's part of what's happening. It's just a bit too much midtones.
I see.
But you know what I mean? Like, have you ever
Yeah.
seen a photo with like that smooth of a tone curve? I was just like, what is going on? So there's that. So the snow. The snow bothers me, not because I don't like the snow, but because I immediately know this snow is fake. It just so I think part of the problem with this snow is that there is not you've got all these indicators that there are these big flakes of snow coming in. However, we don't see any of these big flakes of snow actually in focus.
Yeah.
And that's like the number one indicator for me that it's fake. Like if you're taking a photo of snow, you're always going to get like a handful of flakes in focus.
I kind of wonder though if it was snowing because
I think it
droplets
was
on their hair.
No. I think it was snowing, but that looks like very, very light snow. That would not be generating these big fluffy flakes that were edited in.
The problem is there's no in the middle where they are no snowflakes at all. So that would be what
Yes.
would
Yeah.
focus.
No, totally.
Background and foreground, it would be blurred, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's this whole circle of no snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some that I'm just like kind of feel like the ones like over her shoulder just kind of read like just a little like they just don't quite look real to me.
Oh, I guess there is some. Okay,
They're
I didn't
just
see
like-
the ones that on them.
They're just too big and too blurry for like a spot where they would probably be in focus. Like I don't know, it just doesn't read quite right.
It's the opposite of the lens flare problem. Like
Yeah.
when you're doing fake effects.
So my suggestion with this is actually to find some snow textures, some falling snow textures to bring in, because I think a lot of this could still work, but like if you just had a little bit of actual real snow in here, it would just make it feel a lot more real. The last and final super nitpick is I just don't know what's going on at the top of Alucard's head. It looks like the background is like overlapping the top of his head. Like
It's a foreground branch, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's I don't know.
It makes it
like
look like it's
it
almost a
doesn't look
clone
right. It looks
situation.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually the background that's overlapping. Like I don't see any branch that would be in the foreground. That all looks like background. I don't know. It just looks really weird.
That's
to
so
me.
funny because I totally read it as some kind of foreground element.
Well,
I don't think so
feel-
because I think it would be if it was foreground, it would be way too. It would either be more in focus if it was just over his head like that, or it'd be way blurrier and way bigger because it would be a lot closer to the lens. It looks. I don't know. I could be totally wrong here, but
It's hard to tell 'cause we're
it
not
just
there,
looks. It
so.
just looks really weird to me.
I feel like even if it's real or not, I would have probably taken it out just because it makes it for me. I thought it was a cloning issue, like they accidentally cloned something on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and that's I guess by choice if you think the viewer is going to perceive it that way. But obviously, we're gonna notice it because we're looking for it. But yeah.
Okay, those are my super nitpicky things. Overall, really dig the shot though.
Mhm.
Cool. Any final thoughts on this one, or are you guys ready to move on to the next?
It was a beautiful photo.
Good storytelling.
Yeah,
Feels
seriously.
magical.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, this next one, helps if I actually advance it, is from Eric Jaworski, who I saw just posted in chat, so I know he's here. Sarah, do you want to take us away on this?
Is it supposed to be Pennywise?
I would assume so.
I
love Pennywise.
hate clowns. Like I hate.
Really?
I do. I really. This is not a fun time for me. I really hate them.
God.
Merry Christmas. I got this photo for you as a
Merry
gift.
Christmas. I want to say first of all, the expression, the disregard for captured on this cosplayer face is so good. I'm actually like royally creeped out. Also, I know some kind of flash was used, some kind. I think I like it. I think it feels like very evenly lit, and it like captures like it got this tiny little highlight in her eye, and it's like helping with that kind of whole like evil, scary look. So that glint I think is really, really nice.
Her right eye, viewers left, is just really good. Like
it is. It's so good.
It's really good.
It's like the first thing I look at, not because of the face paint, but it's the eye itself. Is really, really nice. Also, I really appreciate the very like we call it like the clean editing look. I think it just really works for this image. Was this taken at Hallmat? It has to have been.
No, it wasn't. It was
not?
Con Elite.
I don't know what that is.
It's fine.
Anyway.
It's not a very big con. It's Illinois.
Either way. I kind of wish that they had. The only thing that I don't know what the setting is, but I kind of wish that maybe more of the Christmas tree was like more of the background instead of it looking like it was kind of like, to me, it sounds really harsh, but it looks like it was taken in a mall.
I mean, not exactly wrong based on the location. So it's right outside the convention center.
Got it. Yeah, it's just like there are all these Christmas decorations, and I mean, Christmas trees are pretty big in these situations. So I just wonder if there were any other ways to do that.
I think if this was shot on like a telephoto lens, if you could like, have that Christmas tree taking up way more of the background, it would
yeah,
be
because
nice.
right now there's just so many things going on, and even though everything is so bokeh'd out, they're all very like discreet, like very like defined like things, if that makes any sense.
No, totally.
This is actually an instance where like you're never gonna hear me say this like ever, but I really don't like the bokeh in this photo. Because I think there's too many different types of bokeh going on. There's kind of like the environment
it's
bokeh.
not blurry enough or something like that. Like
and
it's got that real hard edge. Sorry, keep going. I'll stop talking.
Yeah, I was like, well, because you have like the blurring of the background, which is fine, but then you also have like what the bokeh does to like artificial lights. So then it looks like the Christmas tree doesn't really look like a Christmas tree. It's kind of just like you found like a bokeh light texture and just slapped it on screen and then didn't do anything with it. So it's like this weird triangle shape competing with the model, which is then competing with this other triangle shape in the foreground. So for me, there's too many like competing elements in the photo. There's not a like super hard focus. So I think that's where the photo is its weakest. I think the location could be really cool. I think the lighting is really good, especially if it's in like a mall and there's that shitty yellow lighting. And the cosplayer is freaking me out. I don't want to look at it. I hate clowns. Those are my 2 cents.
I really like it. I mean, context wise, I think it works pretty well. It definitely is creepy, which is good because I imagine that's what it's actually going for. I think just to be contextually, you're not getting too much. It's not a huge offender, but I feel like the Dutch angle does make things feel a little crooked here. I think just because it's such a subtle Dutch angle. Because to me, it kind of just like, because she's peeking around, it doesn't make her feel like she's crooked or anything. But to me, it makes the Christmas tree in the background feel like it's leaning. Like that's really
definitely leaning.
Like that's the only thing that really gets me about the Dutch angle in the shot is that kind of leany Christmas tree. I would have loved if you, as I said earlier, if you could shot this with it like a telephoto, and like you got the biggest thing that bothers me, to be totally honest, is the kind of that space between the foreground tree and the cosplayer, where you can see like the convention center like text bokeh out. Yeah, like that is my least favorite part of this photo, and I wish, you know, like shooting telly, you could just kind of like not have that in the background. Mallo, got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think I would have liked this vertical, because then you wouldn't have had to
that would help a lot.
That space that where like Sarah was saying, it kind of looks like it's in a mall, which I was like, Macy's. That's what it like. This is like the perfect Black Friday. Like,
oh my god,
she's going to get those deals.
We all flow down here at Macy's.
She about to kill a bitch for those deals.
Yeah. I think I like that this, like, I'm kind of piggybacking off you. I like how it's subtle. I don't think it needed a lot of over the top. I never have seen a Pennywise Christmas version, but I like it. And
why not?
I think the only thing I'm going to be nitpicky about is with the eyes. I would have absolutely cloned the little white flash reflection in her pupil to the left eye, because if not, it's kind of wonky to me.
Yeah, I get that catchlight in both eyes.
That's a nitpick, and you probably already said it. I'm sorry.
No, we didn't.
We didn't bring it up yet.
Okay,
it's all you, man.
And yeah, I think everything else is pretty good. I love it. I think clowns are funny, unless they're like
fucking
real people.
Clowns.
Unless they're real people like standing out by a ditch, like, or a road or something. Then I'm like, okay, you're weird.
I think what I like about this shot is it's creepy, but it also does feel very Christmassy. Like, just like the color tones and everything about it. Just like, oh, it's a nice Christmas. No, it's creepy.
Mm-hmm. And I think I feel, even though this is probably more of the new Pennywise, I thought the old Pennywise was funny, which he was more funny in that one. So it's kind of like it's kind of creepy, but also kind of cheerful, I guess, to some people.
I hate clowns.
We know about you, Sarah.
God damn it.
Yeah, but it's good. I like it.
Cool. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next one?
No.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from World of Gwendana, and Mallo, you are up to start on this one.
Okay. First off, Zelda. Like it was
That's
meant
just
to be.
all you end up saying.
That's all Mallo needs to say, y'all. Zelda.
Zelda. So this is kind of cheating because you're gonna get good points for that, for taking pictures of anything Legend of Zelda. But okay, so I'm gonna start out with what I like. Okay. So I really like that it's dead on in the center. With this photographer, I know he does a lot of like, not all of them, but most of the time he tries to get it like right in the middle composition. Like it. I appreciate for this that there's a lot of the environment, which I know a lot of people don't do, because I feel like, and I've heard this from people, that they feel like the photos that are more like close up get better like feedback than ones with environment, because you can see the cosplayer more. I don't know if that's true. I don't really base my posting.
It's
off
maybe
of
like
that.
Instagram likes, but fuck that metric.
Yeah. I think that maybe we need to get people used to like more environment stuff. Like I think that it makes the photo. And especially if you're like, he does a lot of storytelling in his too, which I appreciate. So I know that like if you put more environment into a photo, there's more storytelling, you know where they are. So like, you know, it'd be like going to Iceland and then everything's bokeh to shit, and all you see is the model. You're like, well, you could be in your backyard in Idaho, like we don't know where you are. So
Let's
sometimes
jump to my water.
Anyway, so yeah, the emotion's good. This cosplayer is good at modeling and doing good emotions, so not a shocker there. What I am gonna say, well, I don't know if the snow's real, but that looks really, really good. And it's not?
I mean, I think when we were out there, it was maybe snowing like the lightest bit, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember. It was so fucking cold.
There might have been a teeny bit of snow falling, but it was not this.
Mm-hmm.
There was definite. I don't know if all of it's fake, but I know some of it is fake.
Yeah, it was done well. I feel like the middle snow isn't as like out of focus. I don't know if I would have had so much on her pants area, like and then like where the model's left would be, that one snowflake that's like super bright kind of distracted me. So
there's a couple snowflakes that I feel like just like
you could have
for whatever reason just are like
they're
drawing my attention a lot. Like there's one that's like right underneath her left arm, and then one up by her braid. That like I don't know what it is about those snowflakes, but they're just like screaming at me like, "Hi, I'm a snowflake," and I'm like, "Okay, I get it."
Yeah. So so with this photographer, I know with his work, we have very different styles. So I don't want this. This isn't really. This is. We kind of like. I kind of thought about this too, and I kind of mentioned it to you guys, or we talked about like his style is very like different from ours. So it's hard to critique this because there's a lot of things I would critique that unfortunately is just like your style. I feel like sometimes when you do high, I know he's in the chat, so I'm kind of talking to him. Like his style, I feel like is like really, really high contrast. And while I've said it 1,000 times, art's subjective and do your thing, and who gives a shit what anyone thinks, because we do preach that, who gives a shit what people think. I feel like when you do high contrast, sometimes you lose detail. And I feel like it's really hard for me to explain. It's maybe you can kind of help me with it.
I think what you're trying to say is that like, yes, art is subjective, but there also are just some kind of like fundamentals.
There's like to make it different, like, or better, like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think. Like, let's say you shoot underexposed on purpose because you need to brighten a photo, like because you don't want to lose detail, but you're not gonna brighten it to like hell and back so you lose information. So like, or I know what you're trying to say. I'm trying to figure, like I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it so it doesn't seem like, because like yes, art is subjective ultimately, but there are like
I genuinely don't know where you guys are going with this.
Okay, let me
fundamentally there are things that like that will make something good or make it bad.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I think also I'm being more personal about it because I know this photographer. So I feel like if this was someone I didn't know, I wouldn't know their style. So I'd be like, the contrast is too high, her face is too washed out. Like there'd be so many things I say, but because I know this photographer, maybe I shouldn't be personal about it. I'm trying to like say like this is their style. Like this is what they do with.
I don't know. I'd still say like even if that's potentially someone's style, I still think me personally, I can only critique based on what I know and how I feel. So like that's why I say like I should maybe preface this more at the beginning of our critiques a lot. But like, man, I'm not a professional photographer. Maybe some of us do occasionally do professional stuff, but most of the people that we have on these streams, most of us are not professionals. We occasionally do side gigs, but like it's not like our main source of income. Like we are not experts in the field. So
okay, but you don't have to be an expert.
No.
Well versed in something.
Yeah. No, but what I'm trying to say is like take our opinions with a grain of salt because like our perspective is our perspective. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to worry about trying to like be like, okay, well, art's subjective. Like, I think that should be like upfront, but like,
yeah, for sure.
I can only critique to what I think, feel, and know. And some of that might not, you might not agree with, and that is totally fine. But like, in my personal opinion, I think the contrast is too high. Like, I think the face, the highlights are just too strong, and you're kind of getting this super harsh contrast, and which is weird because the lighting is fairly soft in this photo, so it kind of feels at odds to me in this shot.
Well, yeah, I feel like the background is perfect. Like I
love the background.
I love the background.
The color and the texture is really nice.
So I mean, let me just explain. It's kind of my bad because I'm looking at this in a personal way because I know the photographer, but also I guess it was kind of his photo is a good opening to just like let you know that, like what we're saying is what we feel and what we feel is the right way or like what we've learned. But like, I feel like when it comes to high contrast, you lose a lot of information and it's just very strong. There's some photos where that works. But and even me, like I used to go crazy with contrast, like 2015, 2016. And then I started to learn, okay, it doesn't have to be that extreme. It can stand out without, because I feel like when people think of standing out, it's contrast, which in some photos, absolutely. But I feel like in this, because it's such a beautiful like scene, I feel like this is another example of it doesn't need to be over the top. You know what I mean?
I think because we were talking about the background, right? Like, I think the example of that high contrast between lights and darks, but you still see the information of each individual, like, I don't know what you call it on like ferns, but like, or not ferns, pine, whatever the fuck this is, a pine tree. I don't know.
I'd say ferns. You're fine with ferns.
It is fern. Okay, I was like, that's not right. No, it is. But like a good example where it's not working, and I think in this case it's like her, I don't know what it's called, like the shawl. But you lose a lot of the gold detailing. Like, yes, that has a lot to do with the fact that the fabric that Heidi was using is very reflective. But with that increase in contrast and brightness, you're erasing a lot of that was there.
Yeah.
And I think just toning it down just like a tiny bit, like some of that information on like the shawl and like some of the texture and like that really fuzzy material that she's using for her cuffs and the scarf thing. What the fuck are Zelda clothes? I have no idea. Anyway,
I think the thing to me is like going through that and kind of doing like an analysis in Photoshop real quick, like that. We're gonna just call it a shawl because what the fuck ever.
A bolero, whatever.
There is detail in there. It's just I think that why it reads so bright is you look at the rest of her clothing, like you look at like her the rest of like her torso.
It's perfect,
and it's really nicely balanced there. And then on her shawl, it's much brighter. And I think because it's not blown out. That's the thing that I'm trying to emphasize. There is still detail there. Like if you do an analysis with using threshold, there is detail there. You could bring that back, and it's not. There is not. Because if it was blown out, it would just be all white, pure white, no information.
Oh, I see.
It's not blown out. There is information in there. You could bring that's especially why you could balance and bring that down to balance it with the rest of the shot, and you could have a more even exposure across her.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've shot this before, and like the scarf and the whatever, the fur part of it or whatever it is. was I shot it when it was super dark out. It was more blown out in the raw image. So yeah, I'm sorry for making this a whole thing.
God damn it, Mallo.
God damn it.
You ruined the stream.
This literally happens every
the
stream.
Last
we always
episode, Merry Christmas.
Listen, it's because it's okay, because the photographer's in here. I was really scared because my style is so different from yours, and I don't like to hurt people's feelings. So I just had to be like,
okay, but also you're not gonna submit a photo, get critique, and then be butthurt about it. At least I hope not.
Remember the last stream I was on with you guys? I was like, the one with well, I was just like, just had diarrhea of the mouth, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a savage.
What? I don't remember that at all.
Anyway, Zelda.
Moving on.
Zelda. It's all in all, the mood is gorgeous, and you know what? Keep doing it.
I've got a couple other like actual.
You go. I'm done. I
critique,
need a moment
here. So I think other things that I've balanced, like you've kind of got the we talked about the contrast, but like I think really the I don't necessarily think it's even the contrast that's the problem. It's purely the balance of the rest of the photo. Like her face just feels like the bright spots feel so bright. But the reason why that feels especially problematic in some of these spots is like the shadows underneath her eyes feel incredibly accentuated because of this. So if you were to keep this as is, I would definitely want to brighten those shadows underneath her eyes, as well as kind of like the shadows on her chin feel just a little odd to me. I'd try and do just like some quick dodging and burning to even that out a little bit. The other thing that I feel in this shot is like I freaking love the background of this. The texture, color, everything about it is really, really nice. But it's such light saturation that once you get to her face and her hair, those elements just feel so incredibly saturated that it kind of feels a little bit clashy to me with the background. I think just toning those down a little bit, like just overall saturation on her face and her hair would really balance it out a lot more and kind of just make it feel a little bit more cohesive of an image. Those were my thoughts. That's all I got for you guys.
Yeah, I think just bringing it down a little bit with even if you can manipulate the contrast, but maybe bring down the highlights, just bring the highlights down. You could just select the model and bring down the highlights, and I think it would be fine. But yeah, I'm so jealous you guys got to shoot here. It's very pretty.
I'm trying to figure out where this even is at Cosplay.
Yeah,
is it Katsucon?
I would assume so. I mean,
Yeah.
it might not be, but I'm pretty sure.
I feel like that's the only time she's worn Zelda to a con. This was Katsucon.
Kyle's gonna be like, "You think I want to tell you my secrets now?"
Tell
Just kidding.
Hey,
I'm
Or
just
he
kidding.
went
I'm
and
just
saw
kidding.
her. Who the fuck knows? Whatever.
I'm just kidding.
I was protecting him, so I get good points. Except it made me like a fumbling mess where I'm like, and everyone's like, where is she going with this?
It's Katsu. I'm psychic. It's a miracle. I know.
Sarah, the way you said that, you're like, it's Katsu. Who could have guessed? Incredible. I am a genius.
Only because she legit said the other day that she hasn't worn Zelda to any other con.
That's sad. Tragic.
It's
Who
hot.
could have
It's a full
predicted this? Not
It's
Sarah.
a full functioning
No.
coat.
I'm wearing my Zelda shirt for this. Well, I was wearing it anyway, but sorry.
Okay, let's move on to the next shot before we spend like an hour on this
We
one.
just
come
like
on.
freaking derailed that shit.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay, Mallo. We still love you.
Whatever. Mhm.
You're just like, yeah, you keep telling us that. Sure. So this is a photo that we're critiquing. I wasn't certain, but does anyone know what this is from? I kind of think it's like
It's isn't that oh no.
like is it Aizawa from My
Is it
Hero?
Is it Aizawa?
I
It
like
looks like Aizawa.
that's what I want to say, but I'm just like
Yeah, that's what I
so
wanna say
not
too.
confident in it that I'm just like don't know, I don't know.
So like when I first saw it as like a tiny thumbnail, I thought it was Aizawa like immediately. But then when I opened it and I saw the glasses, I was like, maybe not. I don't fucking know. But there's definitely like whatever. Let's just go.
God, what do you have? God, I butchered that. Yeah, and the comments. I just wanted to bring this up because I feel like it's just an important piece to say is ask if they can submit non-cosplay photos, and well, we like non-cosplay photos. For this, we're just trying to keep it to cosplay photos. I'm sorry, I screwed up like the other week, like 2 weeks ago, and I did a non-cosplay photo because I'm dumb and screwed up and was zoning. But yeah.
Oh, it's Aizawa. they
Okay,
said.
it is Aizawa.
Well,
Okay, good.
someone said.
Okay, good. I really love the soft mood and colors to this shot.
Oh, it's so dreamy.
Yeah, it's got that very, very dreamy feel. Like the angle works well for that dreamy feel. Now knowing it's Aizawa, I feel like maybe it feels a little bit odd with the character, but it's fine. Aizawa can have thoughtful and dreamy moments, I guess. The one thing I really feel like I want to see with this shot is and you guessed it, a 16:9 crop. Woohoo.
That was my first thought.
Yeah. I feel like with his head being so centered in this frame, and there being so much headroom, that this is just like a perfect candidate for a 16:9 crop.
Agreed.
I'm gonna do it on my screen and see how it looks. Oops, excuse me. The colors in this shot are really nice. I just think these kind of soft, warm colors mixed with that, like just little bits of light blue, are just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though that it's maybe the image just feels like, even though it's going for the soft feeling, I think it's a bit too soft. I can't really tell. It's either the shot's just a bit blurry or a bit out of focus. I'm not quite sure. I think it's maybe actually blurry. I'm not sure.
I think it's blurry.
I have a hard time really telling, but it does feel like
I don't really see anything in
yeah.
focus per se.
I also feel like maybe the shadows were lifted a bit too much in this image. Like I know it was going, the soft image feel of the image is really lovely, but like I just think maybe it was just taken just a smidge too far, at least personally.
I think for me the highlights are like, is this an example of being blown out? I didn't even think that there was honestly a difference.
There's lots of blown out. Let me
between blown out and whatever you said earlier.
Yeah. Before I say that, let me confirm that. Yeah, there is a lot of sections with no detail in it.
I think this was I'm just gonna make an assumption because this is something I used to do when I was shooting like at night is I would shoot at like the highest ISO possible. Which you would think in theory is a good idea because you're trying to get the image how you want it, like again on camera, but I've learned recently, even in really well lit situations, to shoot underexposed because if something is overexposed, like you're just not gonna get that information back, even if it's in RAW. But I kind of wish the highlights were like not as bright as they are. It's just very.
I think honestly, it's not like any of the bokeh balls. It's
no,
like
not the balls.
It's the building that's just so bright that kind of throws me off.
Yeah, I don't mind the bokeh in the front. I think that's really nice.
Yeah,
and the lights and stuff. Yeah, it's purely mostly just the buildings and like the lamps that feel a little too much for me.
Yeah, I tried a 16:9 crop, and I do think that is really nice with this shot. I would definitely do a 16:9 crop.
Are you gonna share it?
Yeah, sure. I'll screen share. Let me zoom that out just a little bit so it fully fits on. But yeah, I think that works really, really nicely with this shot. Kind of, kind of gives it a bit more cinematic quality as well.
Yeah, I mean the moment that they captured already feels from a movie. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nitpicky time? Nice. Question mark. This dude's head that's chilling in the bottom of the frame bothers me so much, and I don't know why.
No, yeah.
I think it's.
But also, it's such an easy thing to take out.
I think it's because the building is so bright that like you hit into this head that isn't as bright, and you're just like, "What's the frick is that head doing there?"
Just hanging out, having a time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those weird things where I'm just like, yeah, get that head out of here. There's some other people on the other side of the frame, but they're like less, like it's far less bothersome than that one guy. I would maybe also Photoshop the other ones out, but at the same time, really he's the only person that really bothers me in the shot. Oh, excuse me. Cool. Any other thoughts on this one, or are you guys ready to move on to the next shot?
Sorry, I didn't really say anything about it. It's because I was playing around with it in Photoshop, even though I don't really do that with people's stuff, so I could explain better. Something that can kind of save this photo. Let's say to save it because I think it's fine the way it is. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's not something like save it from its death. Like, it's fine the way it is. But if you like go, I love using levels in Photoshop. Person uses Photoshop, so sorry, but if you go to levels and if you play with that mid tone, bring it down and then get to the output levels, which is below it, and bring that down a little bit. It looks better. But and honestly, I don't mind the blown out building because it's like it's giving me that mood that it's bright as shit, and like it's just I think it works for this. I've seen photos like this where it's very bright and kind of blown out. I guess it's preference of the viewer. But if you just mess with the levels a little bit, and hey, I think you should get into that get into that like gradient map though, and play with some colors because I was doing that and it was cool. But the photo's fine as it is. But I'm saying like I'm just gonna advertise gradient map because that shit is awesome.
Gradient map is nice. I don't use them as much as maybe I should. I use a lot of other adjustment layers, but gradient maps are very powerful.
Yeah,
They
but
are.
yeah, just mess with the levels a little bit and bring it down just a tad. But besides that, I think it's a pretty. I like usually I don't, but I do like the kind of blown out buildings. So that's all I gotta say.
Awesome. Okay.
Yay.
We've got one more photo in the quote unquote winter/holiday theme set. So we'll do this one, and then after that we will take a short break. So this next one is from Lou. And Sarah, I believe you are up next to start
Oh my
talking.
god, it's Naruto! Yeah. Okay, this has to have been taken at home at.
Yes, it was. It was taken.
Okay, I was like, this is the
can
home at
confirm
tree.
that.
I can like recognize it from like a mile away. Okay. First of all, congrats on being the only person to submit a home at photo. Stellar.
Yeah, come on, home at people. Turnaround time of a day should be enough for you guys. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Get it together.
Get with
So
the
I want to
program.
say that I think the lighting in this photo is really nice. Like it feels like there's like a lot of natural light, which I feel like is very hard to get like in a convention. So I think the lighting in the photo is was done really, really well. Or maybe there was some kind of reflector used. I don't know. But I like how even everything feels. I also really like how they so this is like an example of like when I was talking about with like the Pennywise photo, like where like the Christmas tree is more utilized as like the background texture component. So like here I think it works really well. The only slight disconnect, which I know you can't really help because it's home at, but it is kind of weird to see like a Christmas tree, but then it's like Naruto, but they're not like dressed as a holiday thing. So that's kind of weird to me. But
I
like,
totally agree with you. I kind of am just like I wish there was some sort of holiday connection in the cosplay. Like,
yeah, I don't. That's a huge disconnect for me. But like I said, I know that's hard to do because like I know that the venue for home ed is just decked out in holiday shit everywhere. So it's pretty hard to avoid. So I think circumstance-wise, it's kind of unavoidable. So like, I guess I have to excuse it. But just
I don't know.
like,
There could be like some. I think as a cosplayer, I feel like to me going to Hallmat and not doing a holiday cosplay feels a little odd. Like you could even just do like, okay, contextually to this, you could have everything the same, but then maybe like instead of like, I'm not gonna come up with something creative on the spot. But
literally,
like
she could just
instead
be
of,
wearing a Santa hat.
yeah, or
would be
like
better.
instead of a throwing knife, she could have like a Christmas tree star. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have something creative off the top of my
It's
head,
hard
but
because it is weird because I know my mentality as a cosplayer, I would go to home with a holiday themed outfit. But I know that there are a bunch of people who go to home and don't have holiday themed outfits, and that's fine. But I guess what I'm saying is like it's just a weird photo. Like the juxtaposition of like a normal character against like a Christmas tree is just odd. But like I said, you can't really help it. This is a cosplayer. This was the location. I mean, whatever. So just from like, I mean, I think the use of the Christmas tree is really nice. And like I said, the lighting is really nice, but my brain is just like a little confused.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done.
No, I would absolutely agree there. And I almost wonder, like, could you bring in something in editing and post? I don't know. I don't
know.
It's maybe the cosplayer wouldn't like that, but who knows? I don't have anything creative off the top of my head, but yeah. I will talk about the photo in general for a hot second. Then I do like the overall lighting. I do think this photo needs a bit of dodging and burning though. I think the background is a bit too bright. I think her face, you could really go to town with some dodging and burning. There's a lot of nice tones there to begin with, so doing dodging and burning could really make her face pop, especially her eyes. Like right now, you got a lot of reflections in there, and I feel like her eyes kind of get a little hazy looking because of all the reflections, and some dodging and burning could really clean those up and make her eyes pop even more.
The skin retouching is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel,
any thoughts on this one?
You guys are kind of saying everything that I was thinking.
No worries. It's all good.
Okay. I probably, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have, I don't know the situation, but I probably wouldn't have shot this in front of the tree. I feel like I don't like, there's just too much going on. I mean, unless, you know, in these situations, if the cosplayer wants that, then you kind of, I mean, again, I don't know if this was a paid shoot or not, but, you know, you kind of go with what they want. But also, I think it's a good time to, like, if this was a paid shoot, I feel like these are good times to kind of like communicate with the cosplayer, like what makes sense, what's going to look the best. Like, unless they're just wanting like a dead-on portrait and they don't care what's in the background.
It's hard to know because, like, on that thought, like, man, if this was a hallway shot where you grab someone and you're at Hallmat and you're just like, hey, gonna take a quick photo?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. This shot's an awesome shot for that scenario. So without the full context, it's hard to know.
Yeah. I just think I think it's the red that bugs me in this, and it just is too much. It's too busy. But that's to me, I feel like that's a nitpick because of the fact that, like, you got I've never gone to this con, but if it's decked out in Christmas, you really can't, you know, there's not a lot of options. But I really do like the skin retouch. I think the lighting's really good. The pose is good. So, I mean, I don't really have anything besides that.
I think you could have gone a little further with the color grading, though. It feels, you know, for the most part, pretty clean, but there's a lot of colors going on here, and I think maybe you could play into that a little bit more.
I think it would have been a good opportunity to help make it feel less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts on this one?
No.
Awesome. Okay, with that, we are going to take a short 5-minute break, and when we're back, we will be doing Q&A. So, chat, please get some questions ready for us to ask when we're back, because no one wants us just to be staring at the screen going like, questions, until you guys think of some. So think of some now. Got 5 minutes. All right, we will be back in 5. Bye. And we're back.
Oh.
Don't ask me what that was. I don't know.
Kenny Rogers? Sounded like a little bit.
Okay, you guys, questions? It's Q&A time. That means you ask us questions and we give you answers and stuff like that. So eloquently put. Thank you. So that requires questions, and
yeah,
I'm looking over in chat. Chat, are you doing all right?
It's because Mallo's not in the chat. She keeps it.
Come on, Mallo just hops in the chat and it starts asking questions.
God damn it!
Ara coming in, saving us.
Damn it!
Ara always doing it. All right, she's got 2 questions. Her first one is, I think, specifically to Sarah. Yeah, as both a cosplayer and a photographer, do you ever find your own experiences and taste as a photographer affect the way you feel about photos you receive back as a cosplayer?
Ooh. Yes. Wait. Do you ever find that your own experience and taste as a photographer affect the way? Yeah. Okay. So even before I started doing photography actively in the cosplay community, I was always an active like following really great photographers like in the real world. So like photography has been a part of my life like forever. So even before I got into doing the actual photo taking myself, I always had it, like, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I have an understanding of like what makes a good photo, just kind of like at a very base level. So I've always had very like high expectations of what I want the end product to be, and that's why I'm also so picky on who I work with. Like, it has nothing to do with like the person or whatever. It's just like their aesthetic. Like, if I want to shoot like something really actiony, I wouldn't ask like one of my favorite storytelling photographers to shoot it because their aesthetic just doesn't work with it. But if I want more storytelling, then I'm not going to ask my friends who are more good with like studio and gel lighting. You know what I mean? But I think if there's anything that cosplay photography has affected me is like I understand now. I feel like I'm less harsh on photos because I understand the conditions in which cosplayers shoot in. The hecticness of a crowd. Honestly, some of the demands that cosplayers can give you is just a bunch of like high horse bullshit, and the fact that they have to deal with that all the time. Like there are a lot of things that affect a photographer that are not discussed at all. So if I get a photo back that I'm not particularly happy with, I try to think about like if I was in that situation, what would I have delivered to? You know what I mean? So it definitely doing both has put perspective on both sides. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
Okay, and on the entirely other side, she asks favorite music to edit to. Mallo, you can start off with this. She's gonna be like Zelda music.
Zelda.
Yes. Okay. Come to my Instagram and ask me. I will give you some good stuff. But there is a Zelda mix that's I've been listening to. But besides that, wait, you guys start first because I gotta find. I gotta find my mix.
Okay.
You answer first.
Honestly, I don't have any like specific music for editing. Like I'll edit to like any music that I like is music to edit to. So it just depends what I'm in the mood for. I listen to a lot of VK, metal, jazz, post rock. Yeah.
I feel like I just got asked this the other day. What did I? Soundtracks for me are my favorite music to do something. Like when I have to do something productive, it has to be a soundtrack. If it's lyrical, I get distracted because I'm like, I want to watch the music video now, and then I can't get anything done. But honestly, the Haikyuu soundtrack is probably my favorite soundtrack to listen to while I edit.
Fucking weave. I'm just kidding.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. Yo, soundtrack for season 1 and season 2 are so good, and it's like just the right amount of like hype sound. That's my favorite soundtrack to listen to, hands down.
Well, for me, if you go to on YouTube, Chill Nation, they have a whole bunch of cool.
Ooh.
Freaking love Chill Nation. I like to listen to Disney sometimes, depends on my mood.
I only work while listening to lo-fi hip hop.
Dead. I also like to listen to it's another YouTube channel. It's called Mr. Suicide Sheep, but they have good mixes. And my last one for you. To me. Oh frick, I can't remember now. Oh no, I just had it in my head. Never mind.
Right. So
freaking remember.
Chaboffle, hopefully I didn't murder that name. Asks, do you have any pet peeves when it comes to working with new or inexperienced cosplayers as your models? Yes. This might sound bad.
Oh, mine's gonna sound horrible. Just say it.
Okay, but honestly,
you want me to go first?
Man, because I imagine our answers are gonna be fairly similar, so I'm just gonna say, I don't. Yeah. Like, I just kind of don't work with newer cosplayers and models anymore because, like, I feel like this just will always sound bad. Like, but I'm not a beginner anymore, so I want to work with someone who has, like, at least some level of experience. If there's a beginner who has some, like, excellent cosplay that like is for some reason just like they hit it out of the park right off the bat, I'll be like, okay, sure, yeah. But like most often than not, by the time people are creating cosplays that are really interesting me in shooting, they have a decent level of experience by that point. So I, generally speaking, there's not many beginners that I work with, and that's not to like discourage beginners at all. It's just that's where kind of things are at.
I'm like completely different because I literally most of the people I work with are a lot of my following that sounds so pretentious, but I mean like just the people that, reach out to me. They're newbies, like they've never shot with anyone. They sorry, I was trying to bring the chat back up and I can't. A lot of them they've never shot with someone and for me, I think it's fun for me because I can be hopefully a good experience for their first time shooting with someone. And you would think if you get to know me, I don't have patience with certain things, like literally no patience. But when it comes to communicating with people like face to face, it's pretty easy for me, which is why it's easy for me to be a pre-K teacher. So like I think the biggest thing is like for me is be communicating a lot of things before a shoot when it comes to newbies. Like because they're going to be too afraid to ask you. And you got to just be plain and simple. And in those situations where it's a newbie, you have to just be more of a badass and at communicating, like, because they're going to be, you're the shepherd and they're the little sheep. And you got to, you know what I mean? You're teaching.
Patient.
Yeah, for sure.
I was in that situation
all
before.
of
It sucks. Yeah.
After just saying I pretty much don't get in that situation, I would still agree with all of that.
Well, that's a preference, which I respect for you guys because I'm just now starting to be more like selective on who I shoot with.
It's weird because like I think what I want to clarify with that, it's not that I avoid people that are new. It's just that rarely people that are new are at the level of like cosplay wise that I would want to shoot.
Because also you're in such a time crunch at a con that if shoots are 30 minutes, you don't have 20 minutes to get them to feel comfortable on camera. You gotta like go. And if you're not experienced in front of the camera, like you're not gonna get a good shot. Like, and that's bad for the cosplayer. They paid you money and they get nothing good in return. And then the photographer is not really getting anything out of it either. So it's kind of just like a lose-lose in that kind of like rapid fire shooting situation.
I will will put up a question that I don't know if any of us will be great at answering, but
I can't answer this question.
But I can give people, I can give references. So the Chelsea Pearl asks, top tips for taking/editing decent photos of yourself, either using a timer or a remote.
I got something.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't do self-portrait, but the one advice I can give you is to follow Brooke Shaden on YouTube. She does strictly self-portraits, and she teaches you a lot when it comes to like I watch it too, and I don't have any interest in doing it. But she does a lot of self-portrait stuff, and she teaches you about it. So she's a good person to like go watch if you need some help.
So, another person to reach out with more immediately in the cosplay community is Oki Cosby. She's recently been doing a lot, and actually,
and Starbucks.
Yes, yeah, Starbucks was going to be the other one with two X's at the end and not CK.
Not Starbucks, the coffee.
Yeah. But no, I know specifically Oki Cosby wants to get into writing more as to how to help cosplayers take photos of themselves better. So I know she is.
Oh, and Neolin.
Yeah. So I know she is super looking forward to helping out people with that. So, yeah. Sarah posted in the chat. We got about time for one more question. So, whoever has the final question, we will answer. So, just waiting for that one to hop up in chat. Now we'll play the waiting game.
Y'all are dead tonight.
It's
because it's Taco Tuesday and people are out eating.
That's exactly it.
Oh, I want a taco.
Yeah, no. I imagine it's because holidays and craziness. And the fact that we're doing it on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday. Come on, people. One more question. You guys got this. This isn't difficult.
Come on, Mason Hikari.
Got 18 of you in chat. All right, I'm viewing this right now. One of you gotta have a question.
Ask what their
It doesn't
zodiac-
even have to be like photo or cosplay.
Yeah. Tuesdays
No,
kill me.
I legit thought it was Thursday. Anyway.
Ooh, this one's an interesting one from the new song. How important is the golden hour in shooting? Is it that magnificent or overrated?
I mean, I don't think golden hour is necessarily important. It's just whether you want that kind of look for your photo. It's like it's just shooting preference. Like, do
Yeah.
you want that sunny glow, or do you want high noon, high key lighting from noontime shooting?
I would say not necessarily golden hour, but like even just a bit before golden hour. I generally don't like to shoot natural light until it's a little bit later in the day, just because we have some sort of light direction. The reason why I like golden hour, I genuinely don't care to have like, you know, big bright glowy sun in the background of my shots all that often. I much prefer golden hour for the fact that I can get a directional light. So that's why I like it. So I think it's very, very important, but you can also find lots of ways to get really nice soft lighting without having golden hour. So
Also, don't think that like just because it's golden hour that you like feel like
No. I think it's like everybody is obsessed with that, but honestly, dusk is the best time, but no one's going to
Dusk
get up
is great.
at that time.
Yeah.
No one's going to get
yeah.
up then.
Well,
like if you're gonna
especially
shoot
with
golden hour, make it
cosplayers.
work for that photo. Like just don't shoot in it for the sake of saying that you shot in golden hour. You know.
Something Eric said in the chat.
Oh.
What was that?
Sorry.
Like what the fuck?
It was a Naruto video.
Oh god.
I'm
Fucking
done.
weird. So one thing Eric said in the chat is cloudy days for me all the way. I actually used to like cloudy days a lot more than I do now. I much prefer it to actually be sunny because I feel like it's a lot easier to work with this. I can work around the sun a lot easier when I know exactly where it is. Also, but my least favorite weather is partly cloudy. I hate shooting and then the clouds under the sun and the sun's under the clouds, and I've figured out how to do the shot for that, and then the sun pops out from the clouds and I'm like, well shit. Now I gotta wait like another minute and a half for the clouds to get covered, or I need to come up with something else.
Yeah, I
That's
hate
my
that.
least favorite. So
Yeah.
okay, that does it for the Q&A section. Okay, so we have a handful of photos that were, I don't want to say leftover, but were submitted.
Carryover.
Yeah, carryover from the last critique. They were submitted after we were already full. So we've got 4 shots to go through from that yet. But you know what? I figured, you know, we can still add a bit of a holiday flavor to these shots. So you'll see I had a little fun with these, and you know.
No.
You guys won't, because you're not watching the stream, I don't think. But
Oh, I'm watching the stream.
Oh, the stream knows what's up.
Wait, what?
Oh god, mine's delayed. It's so delayed. What's happening?
Yeah, mine is too.
God. Oh my god.
Wait, hold
I
on.
hate it. Andrew, no.
Our work here is done.
Unreal. Mallo, do you see it?
No.
What?
Yeah, I'm so lagged. I'm at the point where I was answering the golden hour thing.
Jesus Christ, Mallow. Holy
I know, my
shit. That
phone's
is...
stupid.
Who's starting this photo?
I believe Mallow is starting this one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because I did that.
Yeah.
Wait, which one?
The next photo.
This
in
would be
two.
photo
the wing
number
with the wings.
8 from Bailey
Okay.
Rolfs.
Sorry, I didn't have it in order. Okay.
Come on, Mallow. Get with the
Nice.
program.
Did we not talk about my resolution? Organization. All right, let's see.
What is organization?
Right?
Okay.
Just hide that
Okay.
hat for now.
So the first thing I would have to say is really hard because I feel like, okay, how do I word this? Okay, so the first thing I feel is that this is one of those situations that definitely shouldn't be subtle editing. I feel like there needs to be a lot of color and dramatic stuff going on. I don't know what this is from, but just from like the outfit and like the foot on the skull and the wings, I feel like there needs to be a lot of like a pop of color going on. You could stay in the, like, you don't have to add different colors, but I think making this more vibrant would have set a better mood, because for me, I just feel like it's too subtle for such a dramatic costume.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm gonna be harsh. It doesn't look edited to me.
No, it does look very like in its raw state.
And because it's such an overcast day, there's just like that gray like cast to it.
Yeah. I almost, for some reason, I don't like this horizontal. And I know it would be really hard to get the wings in vertical.
I know exactly why they did this. I've done this before. I literally shot something at Colossal last year where I was like trying so hard to get the whole span of this thing in the photo. And I was like, this looks like, it's just like you're trying too hard to make it. And it's just in a situation where it's just not quite
it's because
doing anything.
I think it bothers me because of the fact of the skull, and like I almost have a vision in my head that this is vertical, and that I don't like that the cosplayer is looking directly at the camera at all. I don't like it. I mean, to me, it just seems like this was like in between shot.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with that is that it doesn't, to me, it doesn't actually look like she's looking straight onto the camera.
It doesn't look like she's looking up a little bit.
Yeah,
oh my god, I didn't even notice.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like they're looking over the camera, not at the camera. I think it would be more powerful if they were looking at the camera. And I could be wrong. They could be looking at the camera, but it just looks like they're looking over the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like in these situations, and I don't know how new this person is to shooting. So, but I think that if you're wanting to get like a lot of storytelling in this, you got to really pay attention to like, I think the best thing to do, this is just some advice, is I communicate with the cosplayer sometime like, hey, I need a second to kind of think about what concept I want.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I have had to do that. I've had to take like 5 minutes. And I know sometimes if you have a scheduled shoot, it's kind of hard, but like that's another important thing, is to know, like, if this was like a rando shot, like hallway shot, or like you pulled someone, this doesn't apply to you. But if it's a shoot, knowing what the cosplayer is cosplaying as before the shoot is really important. If this is just a hallway kind of situation, pulling someone, I think just being like, hey, can I have a couple minutes to think about what I'm wanting to do? Because this almost feels like there was no real concept. There was no real thought into it. It was very just shot. And
I don't know if I totally agree with that, because like there was some thought put into it, like the skull's on the ground and she's stepping on it, and so.
But was that the cosplayer, or was that the photographer insisted on that? You know what I'm saying? So
totally.
Yeah, I feel like if for this, because I've only dealt with one cosplayer who had wings out like that, and I kind of did the same thing. This was like 2015. I did the exact same thing. I did vertical. I was like, I don't know what the hell to do. These fucking wings are too big. Like, but back up and try vertical, it's really good to try to do vertical and horizontal, even if you're not sure if it's, give yourself options, because I could almost see this vertical. It could even be horizontal, I guess, but like bring it back a little bit. And if the the cosplayer was looking up, like it was kind of like, I would have added like a light from the middle, like they're looking up, because that skull kind of gives me this mood of like they're triumphant. You know what I mean? Like they did a battle and they just won. Like I'm being really emotional about
They
it. But
did
like,
a battle.
they did a battle. You know what I mean? But like, I guess it's just trying to up that the concept part of it. But I do appreciate you trying to get the whole wingspan. And I'm gonna stop talking so you guys have a moment.
I mean, you basically have said everything.
I know.
I've got a couple thoughts on this. One, I think this photo could actually feel a lot better even if you just darken the background. I think the background, like it's, you know, the wings, the dark black wings create like a very strong mood, but like the background is kind of this overcast look. I think just darken that background a lot would help. Two, man, this photo's crooked. It's not. This isn't a case of a Dutch angle, but this photo's just crooked. You gotta fix it. You're already clipping off the wings a little bit. Just commit a little harder. Fix it. Number 3, and I think maybe easiest way to fix this shot, not fix, to provide a bit more interest to this shot, is you can't shoot this shot on cut grass. Like, you can't, because like we're seeing this is someone's lawn. Like this is someone's grass that has been cut. You've got like all this wild area behind them, this kind of foresty area, but you're on this cut grass, and there's something about cut grass that almost never looks good in cosplay photos at pretty much ever. Like there's a very few exceptions to that rule, because like cut grass just like I feel like is like, hey, manicured and boring and just the least interesting thing in the world. And if you could take them and put them a lot closer to the edge of the forest and take this shot so that you don't have any of that you know,
The
cut grass in the shot, way more interesting.
Well, and if you don't have that option, this would have been a very good chance to like have them at an angle, not get a full body. I mean, which you can get full body for them to have, but I mean, I could have even seen this where they're turned a bit and one of the wings is in the foreground, the other one's in the background. They're kind of looking over. Like it with big wings, I feel like the first thing we all want to do is like, oh, we got to get the whole thing, which you can, because a lot of cosplayers want a full body image of their work. But if you're wanting to storytell, you don't necessarily need the wings all out all the time. You know what I mean? Especially if people know the character. So like, remember, you can angle them. Not everything has to be the same. Or if, like Andrew said with the grass, I mean, I guess that's also, it didn't bug me that much, but you know, turn them a little bit if you don't have options on environment. But I do agree, like, this kind of looks like we're in Dad's backyard. Let's get a pic. Like,
one thing that I was thinking about that with large wings, that you can keep the scale of them without shooting it like this, is to shoot with the wingspan essentially coming at you and trailing away from you. So like you have the camera positioned so that the very tip of the wing is like almost touching the camera, and the camera lens is following the viewpoint's following along the wingspan. That can just create a bit more of a dynamic look as well, and keep the full span of the wings in the shot. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next one?
It's freaking awesome cosplay. I didn't get to say that, but
is this from that D&D podcast?
I have no clue.
I only want to say that because every time now the probably
I just have to say
it's cool.
To the photographer, be more adventurous with
Angles.
editing. Like
Angles
angles
editing.
and editing. Like
Don't be scared.
I mean, with as far as the location, I know that that's a choice, but like you could just give yourself some time to think of concepts. It's okay to take a moment. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, in the chat, 95% sure it's Vax from Critical Role. So there you go, Sarah.
There we go. Critical Role. That's
Yep.
what I meant.
Okay, let's move on to the next shot.
Ugh.
This next one, oh god, this was a especially good one. This is from Fluffy Fox Photography.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm especially
here
good. I went hardcore.
Why are we
on
laughing?
because I did some wonderful editing, guys.
I can't see this shit.
It's not my problem.
Oh, ew! Stop! Who just snorted?
Me.
Dead.
Uh,
Ho ho ho!
Oh my god.
I did my best, guys.
Santa ghoul.
In like did my best
Dead.
in like 2 seconds.
I'm
I
Wait, can ghouls drink hot chocolate? Is that what's in the coffee or no? Or in the cup?
is there hot?
All right.
Is there hot
I don't know
chocolate
shit
in
about
this
Tokyo
coffee?
Ghoul.
I
I'm-
don't either.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god, you guys are not real weebs.
Fake Weeble. Hey, she
I thought it was-
she
I
had
thought
a
it was-
Naruto video go off
I
in the
thought
middle
it
of the
was-
stream. So
No.
I'm
So-
weak. I need to.
I thought Tokyo Ghoul was supposed to be scary.
It is scary, and
I don't like scary things.
and I genuinely believe anime cannot like I've never seen an anime that's actually
That was supposed to
scary.
be like horror, like Japanese horror. I really don't like. Anyway, photo.
Dead.
Yeah, let's do photos. We were talking about photos. I'll remove the hat so when we can actually talk about this. So I right off the bat, I really like the colors and the mood of this photo. Having seen a lot of Fluffy Fox's photos that have been submitted, I think maybe this is the best color toning of any photo that she's submitted.
I agree. It's very strong.
Yeah, it's really good. The kind of these rosy reds mixed with this blue just gives this wonderful kind of gloomy feel to the photo that I think works well with the subject matter. The lighting is kind of dim, and I think that the shot is maybe just like either slightly out of focus or maybe a little bit blurry, but at the same time, like there's still a lot of it. Like the eye at full screen still looks really good. Like you have that really solid catch light in the eye, which is awesome. And I think that helps, like, even though it's like slightly either blurry or out of focus because we get that catch light, I think it does a lot to balance that out and that makes it not bother me all that much. I just overall looking at the photo, the one thing there's two things that bothers me with this shot. One is the brightness of the cups. They're the brightest part of the image, and I just really wish they were toned down kind of closer to the tone of the white shirt. I think that would balance the frame out a bit more. And the other thing that bothers me is the other chair in this image. I just really wish it wasn't there.
Oh my god, I honestly didn't notice it at first.
Yeah, no, I think it's taking
Yeah.
up a large amount of visual space in the image, and to me it changes what this photo is saying to me. It's instead of like being like, hey, this, you know, we're at this table where there's only going to be one seat directly across from me. This is just like, oh, hey, we can see it like 4 people here. And for
I
whatever
see.
reason, that feels like a substantial change in mood to me with the shot. Maybe that's silly, maybe that's ridiculous, but that's kind of
because
where
it's
my
kind
mind is.
of like he feels very isolated, and that's how to me. But once you brought up the second chair, it does kind of like lose that kind of like isolation.
That and honestly, it just doesn't look very good in the shot. I think the shot would look better, like even without like what
Agreed.
it's saying to the story. I think it would just, read better.
It'd be one of those things later on. I'd be, fuck, why didn't I move that chair out of the way? I hecked up. I've done this, Fluffy Fox, so trust me.
Other thoughts? I don't know what the heck is going on with the texture in the windows, but I love it.
I think they're those transparent blinds.
I don't know. It just looks really, really good. It's got this kind of almost like grungy look to it, and it looks really cool for this shot. I like it a lot.
I agree.
I feel like because I feel like I just need the eyes to be edited a little more, like brightened a little more, like not a lot because you're not in a setting where it would be bright. But I just feel like the cosplayer doesn't stand out as much as I want them to because of that. Like first thing you're gonna look at is the background because, like you said, it's amazing. But maybe just the clarity, like just bring a little more up the clarity a little bit, like select the cosplayer in Photoshop or whatever you use and bring up the clarity a little bit because it just seems a tiny bit flat to me, but nothing like super dramatic. Yeah, but I think the mood's really cool. The chair doesn't really bug me, but yeah, I think it'd be stronger without it just because I don't know. Like it does it's just in a way blocks the cosplayer a little bit and it's just in a weird spot, I guess. But I don't think it like kills the photo it being there.
Just like a small visual distraction.
Yeah, totally. I think I'm not a big person to add things in, but it would have even been cool if you tried to add in like steam coming out of the coffee cups. I'm not good at that. This is not even something that's gonna make or break the photo, but it would have been kind of a cool touch if you tried to put some steam coming.
I totally agree.
Kind of back to that subtlety comment we brought up during the Lara Croft photo. Like it just would have just like added that little extra like
realism, like it's real or like
Yeah, because I know for a fact those cups are empty. Like that's just what it is. But you want there to be some kind of steam because you know that they're coffee cups. So
yeah,
I get what you're saying. Tiny things.
Cool. Or put real coffee in it and get the real steam
for like 30 seconds.
Right.
Better act fast. You guys got any other thoughts on this one, or should we move on to the next shot?
We love you, Fluffy Fox.
Can we just say how Fluffy Fox somehow is able to color correct the most horrendous lighting situations well?
I imagine this is actually some pretty shit lighting.
Yeah, I don't get that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let us move on to the next shot. This one is from
God, I can't wait to see this.
Sarah, you could lead us off on this one.
Okay. Oh, I want to watch the thing I had up here.
Wait, which one are we on?
Persona.
Okay.
Up here. Oh my god, so far behind. Oh, that was pretty good actually. Anyway. Okay, so right off the bat, I really like the color grading in this photo. I like it has that what is it called? No, like the faded look.
It looks like film.
Yeah, I think this is an example of the faded look done really well. Honestly, I think the faded look can be overkill sometimes and make things feel really flat. But I like how the faded film look is done here because I don't feel like I'm losing any kind of like dimension to the photo, which is really nice. It also just helps with the whole kind of like nighttime street feel, which I'm really digging, especially for Persona. Yeah, so the overall like feel and tone of this photo, I'm really, really digging. Something right off the bat that I think could have used a little bit of improvement is the pose of the cosplayer. Because right now it kind of looks like, because like her left leg is directly in front of her right leg and through the lens itself, it kind of looks like there's just a lot of shape missing. So I kind of wish that either her right leg was brought back a little bit, or maybe if the left leg was like curved, bent even a little bit more, just to give more shape to their body, and like so the other leg like wasn't.
I think if they had
missing.
more weight on that back leg, so that it was maybe a bit straighter and
like
kind
straighter, yeah. I just realized
Yeah.
it was bent too. So I think the pose is like a little awkward. Like I get what they were going for, but it's not quite there yet. Like it feels a little bit too lax to me. But also pose wise, I don't. Again, this is picky. I don't know how Futaba this feels. I didn't like play Persona 5, but I've watched playthroughs and I've seen bits and pieces of like the anime stuff, and she's just like a very like kind of like withdrawn kind of character because she's literally a shut-in for a good part of it. The post feels a little odd for the character, but I could be wrong because like I said, I didn't play it, so I don't know if her personality changes like later on. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
No context on
Jacket.
the character. I do not know at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think the kind of things that jump out to me is one, the shot is once again either out of focus or blurry. I don't know which one of the two, or maybe a combo of the two. But her face is really kind of out of focus. But on top of that, just the lighting on her face is kind of not very good. You got a lot of weird shadows going on, like on the side of her face from her hair, and then the shadows from her glasses, and just like overall the shadows on her face are not very kind. And I mean, you're working with shitty lighting, so it's going to be really hard to fix that.
Yeah.
This would be like the scenario where I'd love to have a flash with me, because in a softbox, because I would definitely want to light this, because like that light is not particularly flattering. But yeah.
I really like. I'm kind of mimicking Sarah, but I like the film look. I wish more people tried to do this. I'm a big fan of it, where it's like even like the green tint in the shadows definitely gives me that film vibe. I don't even know if that's what they were going for, but it was pretty cool. I think I would have probably brought the photo out a little bit. I wouldn't have had such a tight shot.
I was just kind of thinking that as well. It's a
Yeah.
bit of tight framing.
Because you have a pretty cool background, and I've played Persona, but like with the city vibe, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think the big problem is you can't even fit like a full Santa hat in there. The Santa hat gets cut off, which is a big problem.
I'm dead.
That's a good unit of measure.
With the shadows, I think that would have been a pretty easy fix if you spent some time with like frequency separation or something like that. Like it doesn't bug me a whole bunch, just like maybe like right where the chin is, a little bit on the cheek. I personally am trying to embrace more natural look to the face, so like you could have kept some of that shadow there, because realistically it's nighttime and no one has no shadow on their fucking face. But sorry, Andrew. But I definitely think the mood's cool, and I wouldn't go too far out on the shot, just maybe a tiny bit, because the way her pose works and how she is, it's a good pose for a tight shot. But just get a little more of the environment, like a smidgen. But it's a cute portrait. I think it's pretty cute, and I like how it looks very different from the typical cosplay photo, and I appreciate that.
Agreed.
Cool. Okay. Any final thoughts on this one, or we move on to the next shot?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Cool. Okay. Well, this next one is the final shot of the critique.
Casey, over your Coke.
What?
We're best friends. Leave us alone. Maybe I just only consider us best friends.
We're 12 years old. Mallo, stop.
Okay, sorry.
I love you.
He's trying to go like
Okay,
7'7" or
Mallow,
something.
Mallow. This one is
Hi.
from Hail the Nanator, and Mallow, you're gonna lead us off on this final shot.
Oh God, hold on.
Just like,
Oh God, wait. Oh, okay. It's the one
Tubi.
thing, the game. Yeah, the
two
game.
booty.
It's just a
Damn.
just butt.
I always get these like very scandalous photos at the end,
Man, just Tubi's all about that fan service.
right? Okay. Oh, word. Okay, so I've never played this game, but I do know that none of this color is the typical for the game. I know it's very muted color. Why did I say it like that? Muted colors. So
Very, very moody usually.
yeah, I feel like it doesn't make much sense as someone who knows the character or the game.
Mhm.
I would have probably, I mean, it's hard for me to say without doing it, but I would absolutely have brought like all of the leaf color down, like a lot in saturation. I don't know how it would have looked, honestly. I don't know how it would look in that situation, but definitely like gradient map. You could even play around with curves. Selective color is really nice.
Mhm.
The other thing I don't like about this is that I need to see her feet and both of her legs. Like the pose is cool because I know like it's typical to have these like upskirt shots, like if that's what you were going for. But if you're trying to attempt that, I would have like not chopped her legs off.
I'm gonna follow your upskirt shot
Yeah,
comment.
go. You guys can go. I'll come
It's
back.
not a good way to phrase that.
Whatever, it's fine. I mean, we're literally staring at a fan service photo of
Okay,
Tubi.
go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So something that's bothering me again. This is nitpick. I don't even know if I want to talk. But
Well, you're halfway there, so might as go all the way because I know where you're going.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do a skirt shot, I like the polka dots on the panties don't work, and also it's inaccurate. So it's like,
yeah.
if you're gonna do the skirt shot, which is such a fan service thing to begin with, like I don't know, I've seen so many of these to know that this is not the right color. I mean, there's literally a part in the game apparently where her skirt flies off and she's wearing a white leotard. Yeah, so either take the time to like, I mean, whatever, you're staring at her butt, but to Photoshop out the dots, or I guess I don't know. It's weird. It contextually doesn't make a lot of sense. Like you have like this very like the beautiful design of like Tubi's outfit, which is very like more like ornate and it's like more elegant, and then you have like polka dot underpants. So it just is kind of weird to me, especially when like the main point of this shot is to do the butt shot. So that's just me. I don't think it was the greatest execution of this kind of shot.
Yes. That's all I will say on that.
I mean, it's better to me to talk about it, so whatever. Shot a ton of Tubi.
So, I totally get like this shot in terms of like the colors. I totally get why it happened because fall and the colors are great and you're just like, I want to get these awesome colors in it. And the colors are in fact really nice. Like, in those
sure.
leaves, they're kind of gorgeous. I was, at least where I live, I was not lucky. Our fall sucked this year for colors. So
us too. Yep.
yeah. So like this has me very jealous. But yeah, it just doesn't quite fit the mood of the character in the game. In terms of positioning, I agree, Mallow. I want to see full body for this shot, frame it a little bit better. But I think also, in terms of like looking at like that fence, I I would probably put the cosplayer against a cleaner section of fence. Like, I just really don't like that planter that's coming off that fence. It just, I feel like, is a bit of visual noise that just doesn't need to be there.
Because the background itself is already pretty busy. Even if it was just the trees, there's a lot going on.
I feel like we haven't had like a really, really solid Dutch angle photo this time. So come on, all my Dutch angle followers in chat, throw those Dutch angle emotes. And yeah, I just think that maybe balancing out the colors a lot would help. I do think the pose has a lot of potential, though. I think maybe a bit more dynamic. Have the hand that's towards the camera a little bit lower.
That would help. And out more. Because the foreshortening's pretty bad. Photo.
And I would also have their torso kind of twisting a little bit more. That makes sense.
Like more towards the camera?
Yes, I think there's a lot of potential. Like, I think there's this nice turn in the body, and I think it works nicely for this pose. So I'd just take it a little bit further.
Agreed. Like, really exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Everyone's just too busy playing video games.
Everyone's too busy playing fucking Overwatch. Damn.
Yep.
I hope
kind
you
of miss it, sort of.
Hope you lose this round. I've only played.
No, don't say that about competitive. I'm getting triggered.
I've only played 10 minutes of Overwatch in my life. And Red Dead Redemption looks boring as shit to me, but that's me. Okay. I guess any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next, or wrap it up, I should say.
Nope.
Okay, well, that is the final shot of the critique. Okay, before we do kind of our closure thing, wanted to say this. So, this is our holiday special, and I'm not sure what anyone specifically celebrating or not celebrating in this time of holidays, but I want one thing from all of you who are watching. So, if you are a cosplayer, I want you to take one photographer that you've worked with. God damn it. They're with the siren again. I want you to take one photographer that you work with and just randomly send them a thank you. I want you to, it can just be text, can be anything, and totally unprompted. Whether it's a photographer that you've worked with a lot or one that you just were really happy with the photos with, just, give them a heartfelt thank you. And photographers who are watching, I want you to give a thank you to the cosplayers a cosplayer that you've worked with, whether it's someone you worked with all the time or if it's someone that you've just, recently worked with or someone you haven't worked with in a while.
Someone you just admire.
Yeah,
just tell them you like
pick
their
someone.
work.
Pick someone. I don't really want it to be someone that you're saying I like your work. I want this to be like a thank you, to really show that you appreciate it. I think a lot of us really do appreciate the work that everyone is doing in this community, but we don't really say it enough. And
we don't say it
hard.
At all.
It's hard because, man, I feel like we got a culture where bringing that up's a little awkward. But man, it's the holiday spirit. It doesn't matter what you're really celebrating. Just dip into that mood, bring in your cold heart and bring some warmth and just share it.
I'm dead.
So,
well, I'm gonna go off of that and say that it shouldn't be hard, and it shouldn't have to be the holiday to say something like that to someone that you like.
No, it shouldn't. But god damn it, this is my one thing I want to happen, okay? So everyone who's listening, seriously,
tell them
do
that
it all the time, damn it!
Message your favorite photographer cosplayer, tell them you know where they live and you're looking. They will feel great.
Oh my god, that's creepy!
Don't do that. Don't. No.
No, it's real life though. When I get messages from people saying how much they like even just one photo, it makes my day so much better. It'll lift my day immediately.
So So dig
Just
into
do
that
it.
holiday spirit and share some cheer, because it'll
Stop.
make you feel better. It'll make them feel better. It'll be awesome. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get, once the stream's over, I'm gonna think about who I'm gonna message, and I want you all to do it too. So yeah. Mason Hikari says, let's all thank Sarah with some clown photos.
Fuck you, Neil.
Ooh,
Get away
that's a
from me,
good
Mason
idea.
Do
Hikari.
you just
Hold
love
on.
this
I'm gonna
holiday
find a
cheer
good-
that's being spread right now?
I'm gonna find a good one to send her.
As I die.
Clown photo. Scary.
Okay. And
Ooh, I don't like that one. Sorry, go ahead.
Lord Jesus, what have this become? Try to make it
Don't
heartfelt
listen to
and
Mason
wonderful.
Hikari. Listen to Ara. They know what's up.
Try to
Mal's
make this
fucking
heartfelt
kill
and
you.
wonderful,
I
and it's
hate
just
you.
fucking.
Wait, I'll just show it on.
No.
Wait,
Fuck
Hold on.
you.
wait.
And
That's creepy.
God damn it.
Literally me after this week.
My wife sends me a text message right now that says, "Thank me with your cookies."
I don't want to know what that means.
It means literally
Either.
cookies. It means once the stream
Goodbye.
ends that I need to bake some goddamn cookies. Okay, so let's wrap this up with I guess the more normal parts. Mallo, thank you so much for being on. It's always fun having you here. Where can people? You're just like, really? Is it? I don't know. I think.
It's
I
not.
don't know. Is it though?
I don't know.
So Mallo, where can people find you on the interweebs?
So on Instagram it's Miss Mallo Photo. Twitter it's Miss Mallo Photo. Right now I'm really into posting my Breath of the Wild gameplay, so if you're into that, I've been posting lots of screenshots of the memories and I'm emotional. So
It's pretty
don't
cool.
go there.
I like it.
It's so fun. Anyway, I have a life outside of that, I promise, not really. But yes, Instagram, and I'm in the works of making me a website, which no one will visit. But
Hey,
do people visit websites?
I don't know.
anymore?
It's just go on Facebook and Twitter, and that's it. Honestly, I think actually more people visit your website than you probably think that actually do. But
Yeah. So Instagram, and I'm trying to Facebook. It's Miss Mallo Photography, and I'm trying to like make that presentable because I've ignored it for so long. So, but Instagram is the main
Facebook
one.
is dead.
It is though.
Like fuck Facebook. I don't even waste my time with it. Like, oh, that exists, but I don't care because literally no.
Yeah.
well, with that,
He said okay.
so oh god damn
Whoa.
it. Whoopsies. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't fall again. Sarah, where can people find you online?
On the Instagram, that's my most active. The only one I post to anymore, photo stuff wise, because Facebook's dead.
And you guys can find me at Vontography on Facebook and Vontog on Instagram because Vontography was taken.
Still can't believe that.
Oh, and Sarah has a cool traveling Instagram.
Oh, I do. I
Tell them
forgot
your
about
name.
that.
It's mayonnaise days.
It's Sanrio mayonnaise, something like that.
Yes, that.
The mayo.
Travel photos. Well, I always haven't been posting to it because nothing. So, not very exciting right now. But I do have a travel Instagram now. So if you're into that kind of shit, follow.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we don't have a solid date for the next critique, but it most likely will be January 10th of next year. Sorry that we won't be able to fit one in until next year. Just kind of the way scheduling works and when I'm busy, I was not able to fit one. It just wouldn't be possible until next year. That said, I will probably be doing more streaming, so editing and probably some gameplay streaming in the very near future. So if you enjoy watching me do shit, then come stop by. And once
Oh,
again,
what is everyone's next cons? That's a good question.
I don't fucking know.
Really?
Anime Milwaukee, I guess, but like, who cares about
Damn,
Anime
dude.
Milwaukee?
Katsu.
Well, Mallo and I will be at Katsu, so if you see us,
I won't be at
say
Katsu,
hi.
which is a bummer, but I don't regret it that much.
I'll be at MagFest too.
I really want to be at MagFest though.
Ooh,
I wish I could have made it happen, but nope, not this year.
That's okay.
So huge thank you to everyone who came by and was in chat during the live stream. We greatly appreciate it. Love you guys who are critiquing along with us. And huge thank you to everyone who has over the course of the year donated and
seriously,
subscribed.
thank you.
It's been a huge help. It goes a long way for me to keep this thing going. So if you have a if you feel that you've enjoyed this and would like to donate, it's hugely appreciated. Or subscribing also helps greatly. If you have a Amazon Prime, that means you got Twitch Prime, and if you're not using that free Twitch Prime sub, consider dropping it here. And with that,
hopefully it works for you guys, unlike me.
Man, Sarah, I don't know what the heck's wrong. You should.
I don't know.
You really
It still
should get
doesn't
that figured
work.
out.
I should just contact them.
All right, and I think at that, that is it for us. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Oh, Stuffy, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Hell yeah.
Yay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And we will see you in January next year. Have an awesome holidays. And yeah. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.